What is up, RotoGrinders? 2 hours nonstop NBA DFS conversation starts right now, taking you up the lock, 7 o'clock on the East Coast. Big boy slate on a Friday night. 11 games on the DK slate, a whopping 13 games on FanDuel. FanDuel, of course, as always, as they've been one to do, they're leaving the late games on the slate. You got Philadelphia and the Lakers, as well as Clippers and the Kings. That is an hour after the last game for DraftKings, 9 o'clock, Portland and Minnesota. A lot of news to get into. Not a ton of back-to-backs. So kind of, there wasn't a lot of games yesterday, so the back-to-backs today is pretty thin. It's back half is Milwaukee, Minnesota, and Portland both played yesterday. They're playing against each other today. Atlanta, Brooklyn, Cleveland, and LA, the Clippers, that is, they are on the front end of a back-to-back. A lot of injuries are monitoring. TJ McConnell had the fish, so he's questionable. Big one in Charlotte. Well, not monitoring, but just a big situation. Bridges now hurt for Charlotte. Jalen Duren has got an ankle, so he's doubtful. Zion, hamstring. Jordan Hawkins is out, so New Orleans still really, really thin. Draymond's got a knee, so he is officially questionable. That should be a fun game if nothing else. I don't know how great it is for DFS. Dallas is basically without all their bigs, with the exception of Gafford, and I guess Gafford will be starting. And then what's the other big that I'm losing his name for some reason? Top of my head, doesn't matter. Roth hates him. Roth always besmirches him. Does not speak kindly of Dwight Powell. That's the name I was looking for. We're going to talk about all that. Talk about our favorite value plays, favorite plays in general. As far as the slate, it's myself, Dean Chambleson. You guys know me at this point. Maybe not. Either way, Kid Yahoo. It's Kirkwood. Kirk D's. Sounds like you're feeling a little bit better. I know it's been a tough week with you with your voice, but talking to you pre-show, I think you're coming around, Kirk. Kirk, we all good? You're still a gamer. You're still giving it a go. We feeling all right?
It's like lingering. I'm better, but I still have a cough. But the cough I can't kick. But other than that, I feel pretty good. So like today I felt much better. It was a big improvement. Yesterday was an improvement too.
We're gonna need it for tomorrow, because tomorrow you got your podcast for NFL and you host that. You can't delegate a ton of usage in that one with Bobby and Noto. Saturday, what's noon, 1 o'clock? When do you guys?
Saturday live at noon.
There you go. All right, Chop, how we feeling? We doing all right? Happy Friday.
What up, Dean? How you doing, brother?
What was the lean in right there? Did you do the mic check? Did you official do the mic check pre-show?
Making sure people heard me loud and clear. Yeah, I did the mic check. I was the first one in chat, obviously, per usual, Dean. What an exciting football game that was last night, Dean. That was a good one, right? That was a barn burner, man.
I've got a question for Dean.
Uh-oh.
Did you see that Derrick Henry play?
Oh, man.
I watched like half the game. I was watching some basketball and I was watching the Florida Panthers, some hockey. But I caught that most is what I don't think I saw the Henry play.
You didn't see the backside? You didn't see the backside?
Oh, I did see it on Twitter. I didn't know who it was, but I did see somebody got pantsed.
It was
Henry's
electric, wasn't it? Electric.
I don't know if electric is the word I would use, but sure, if that's the word you want to go with, by all means. Yeah. I had Burton over like 20 yards, and he had like 90 air yards. He had about 90 air yards. They gave him a chance, but he did not quite get there, unfortunately. But the second half was fun. By the way, we have no time to get into this, but Al Michaels, it's over, right? I love Al Michaels. He had a hell of a run.
It's like who's the guy on New Year's Eve every year for
Dick Clark? No longer.
Dick Clark. Yeah.
Like 10 years since we lost him. But yeah.
It's like the start. It's like he's not there yet, but he needs to. If he doesn't start backing it up soon, it's gonna get to that point.
Yeah. Al Michaels is great. I used to love when it was like kind of like risque, like kind of wink the Vegas line. That's but he used to do like 20 years ago. This is very interesting to a lot of people. Now it's like whatever, everybody's betting on it, and we all know, and most of us are doing it legally. But I think it's over for Al Michaels. It was a good run. The second half was a lot of fun as well. That Cincinnati offense, it was just a bummer this was not in the main slate. We all kind of knew it. Like, this is the best game of the week. Why can't this be on Sunday? And we would have stacked that 19 different ways. But all right. Chop, anything else as far as the slate that's worth noting? I know we're little behind on time. We'll be fine, I suppose.
Well, how are we behind, Dean? Should we got like freaking hour and 30 minutes in this joint, man?
No,
we're the appetizer too. We're just the appetizer.
We're just the appetizer.
We're fine, Dean. We got
Blue and
plenty
onion.
of time.
So, what crunch time comes in at about an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes, depending on. You got TJ Zwarych, Bobby Gomes, as well as Roth. Roth is coming on as well, but we should get a move on. Oh, Friday. Friday means Free Friday. What are we giving away for free today? The underdog. If you're playing in the underdog streets, you're playing in the prize pick streets, you can get access to that. Go ahead and drop it in chat for the people. It just basically helps you point you in the right direction according to our projections. What is most likely to win based upon the current lines on prize picks and underdog. Do have at it if you guys are in chat. Also, if you're clicking on that in chat, you might as well click the like button as well. Hit that like button. Do subscribe and turn on those notifications so you know when we go live. This is a monster slate. It's a 11 gamer on DK, 13 on FanDuel. Memphis looks really good. We'll talk about that when we get there. Kirkwood, you have any kind of overarching thoughts as far as this slate? Mine is also I like a lot of centers. I like a lot of centers, and a lot of the cheap centers are really, really good. And I want to play 2 centers on DraftKings, but that's probably not like a bold take.
Yeah, I like a lot of centers too. I mean, cheap. We got Kata. For the cheapie, we got Goga. We got Isaiah Stewart. If you want to go there, I like the other 2 better. And we got Miles Turner, right? Like awesome play, all saving money. And then we've got guys like Cat, Joker. Like Joker showed us the other night how he can, if he's a lower owned stud, like you want 82 fantasy points, potential to break a slate at any given slate, that's your guy. So, I was a little disappointed, Dean, when I heard the prizes because I'm trying to, there is somebody in this industry who's got a dart game of the year going off. And I was hoping that we would get a free sub package to that, but I don't think that's going to happen. Chop, did you hear about that at all?
What happened?
Did you hear about the dart play of the year?
Oh man, I did. Yeah.
We got to get a sub to that. We got to get in on that.
No doubt. It's the play of the year, Dean. How can you pass? Like if somebody spits out play of the year, it means something, right?
Of the week, right? Play of the year of the week. Is that the old Van Pelt bit? Just play Phil Taylor. Just play Phil Taylor and just count your money. That's all I got. I don't have anything else as far as dart players. I think he's the best dart guy. I don't know.
Does the Seminole Hard Rock let you bet darts?
I don't know. I have not investigated that.
You should look. This is a game. This is like a legit play of the year.
I'm not in the dart streets. I got to be honest. It's important to know what you know, and sometimes it's also important to know what you don't know. And I do not know anything about darts, but I will say it's pretty wild. They get like these raucous audiences that go nuts especially when they get a 180. Like, have you guys seen the highlights of this? You ever watch the darts? It's huge in Europe, but anyways, we have no time for such nonsense, such silliness. Chop, anything else that's of note before we go a little game by game for the people?
Of note. Let me think about that, Dean. Hold on a second.
Did I catch you off guard? Did you not anticipate such a question?
Of note. Is it
or not of note?
Is it of note that I tried the McChicken Big Mac McChicken sandwich last night? I did try that.
For podcasts, for sure, it's definitely of note. I don't know if it's so note. What would you want to give like your 30-second review?
I thought it was not bad, Dean, because typically I like the sauce involved in a Big Mac sandwich. It's got a nice sauce to it, but I don't like the greasy meat they put on there. But the McChicken, obviously not greasy, nice and crispy, couple thin crispy chicken patties, and the sauce with obviously the buns and the pickles, tomato, all that other stuff. I thought it was good, Dean. I thought it was. I like it more than the regular Big Mac because of the protein choice, like the greasy.
You just like chicken more than beef, is what you're saying?
Not necessarily. I do like a lot of chicken. I do like chicken more than beef, but this hit the spot, Dean. This hit the spot. I ain't gonna lie.
All right, fair enough. The people did need to know that was of note. On second thought, retroactively, for sure, was of note. Okay.
You know what? You know what's
First game.
electric? The from McDonald's, the hash browns in the morning.
Those are good, man. Those are
Yeah.
good. Just McDonald's breakfast in general has got it going on.
Bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. I love their biscuits for some reason.
Yes.
Can I just say hash browns? Just absolutely home fries. Like, what are we talking about? Home fries. Who wants the home fries? Hash browns.
If you have a choice, if you always say, whenever you're on a burger, you always say, "Can I sub hash browns for home fries?" You always got to ask, like, no matter what.
For me, it's like a deal breaker. If we're going to the breakfast place and
different diner.
Oh yeah, we got to go somewhere else. Yeah. All right, we got to move on.
But you're not up. You're probably eating breakfast at a 24-hour spot, right?
Well, yeah, those places exist. Yeah, for sure. There was a while, didn't McDonald's once upon a time? I don't know if they still do breakfast all day long. Is that still a thing? That was once.
Yeah, I don't know if that's still a thing.
Yeah, didn't Big Daddy have a whole scene about this? I feel like it happened in Big Daddy. They talked about it, but we shall move on. Atlanta is playing the Detroit Pistons. 227 is the total. It's fairly high. It's definitely tight. Atlanta just a 1-point dog here to the Pistons. The big deal here we kind of alluded to centers being a thing in this slate. Jalen Duren, not officially ruled out. We have him as doubtful as far as his ankle. Oscar Thompson is still out for conditioning. We're expecting Beef Stew, Isaiah Stewart to jump in there and play the 5 and play a fair bit of minutes. I'm guessing Paul Reed will be behind him, but Cunningham's. Is that official?
Yeah.
It just happened right now. Did I miss it?
No,
oh yeah,
like 45 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. I was writing my stuff down about an hour ago, and I guess I missed it at some point. But thank you for confirming what we kind of assumed. But that is good to know. Yeah, Cunningham also has been spectacular. Atlanta, nothing new as far as their injuries. We did see the Ricochet a breakout game. Good for him. Jalen Johnson's been awesome, but the price is up there. But I'll throw it to you, Kirk. There's so many centers. Beef Stew should be really good. It's just like I don't know how to pick the two. There's one I wrote up. We'll talk about later on in the show. As far as the cheapies, where do you have Stewart in the power rankings? Is kind of the question.
He's like right outside of it. The core. He's right outside the core. I think he's a good play. He's cheap. He can, stuff the stat sheet, but I don't expect a huge ceiling out of him, especially in this matchup with Atlanta with like Capella and Okongwu. So, I like Keita better. I like Goga better. I like Miles. I like paying for Miles Turner. I like pay-ups. But like if you need the salary, sure, he's in play at 4,300.
How about the rest of the Pistons? And feel free to jump over to Atlanta as well before we get to the shop.
Not getting a whole. Cade is a great play. Tobias is a decent play in my opinion, and Jaden Ivey's a good play. Those would be the three guys that I have interest in, but I'm not sure if they're going to make my lineup at this point.
We got Stewart 11% on DK. That's a pretty good number. I think that's a pretty good number if that holds. Ownership wise, he's probably going to be less owned than some of the other guys we're going to talk about soon enough in a similar price point. Chop, Atlanta, and Detroit. What do you got for me?
Yeah, I'll be so Atlanta not really appealing. Not maybe I sprinkle some Jalen Johnson in there in GPPs, but other than that, yeah, I'm not finding my way to those guys that much. And then on the Detroit side, I don't think we've seen a starting lineup. I'm assuming what the starting lineup is going to look like, and I think you can make a case to play any of them. You can make a case for it. Not saying I am, but any of those 5, I think you can make a case for. Specifically, I think Isaiah Stewart's a fine value play. I think we're going to run into a lot of guys on this slate like Stewart who have a pretty good price tag on DraftKings, and they're going to project fairly well, for that price tag. So he's going to be mixed in there with a lot of those guys. Cade Cunningham, I think, is actually pretty nice. $8,700 and a really good matchup with Atlanta. I like that. I like that one. Jaden Ivey's going to be good. And man, I hate to play Tobias Harris, but he's under 6K. And with the Detroit injuries, whatever.
He's been pretty good. He's been pretty good, to be honest.
He's gonna get like little bump there, man. In addition to what he's already done, and it's just a good like under 6K. Listen, Dean, when I'm looking at it, I'm looking right away. I'm looking at kind of projection in my head, what I think he projects at before everybody does it, and then I'm looking at the salary. Hey, listen, you're under 6K, you're catching my eye. If you're under 6K and you're projected for over 30 points, I got to take a deeper dive. So Tobias Harris is in the mix.
I think there's ceiling there with Tobias that we haven't seen yet. I think he could, he's been steady Eddie, kind of like recently he had that 140-point game in the revenge factor. But I think like in a matchup with the Hawks like this, I think he has ceiling for 5,900.
0.91 DK fantasy points per minute in the season for Harris. He is kind of streaky though. He just sort of comes and goes. Like he's one of those guys who will put up 20 in the first quarter and he'll have like 30 in like with 5 minutes to go. And it's like, well, what happened here? He just sort of like he'll disappear at times. But I don't disagree. I think he's certainly in play. And I do like the Detroit side more than Atlanta. Detroit playing much more in pace here. They're one of the slowest teams in the league. Atlanta, one of the fastest teams. So, I figure it's not the best matchup for Atlanta. Okay, let's go ahead. And you can always play Trae Young. Obviously, I don't think I will. Next game that we have.
I just want to play. I mean, Cates had back-to-back triple doubles, which is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, he's good. His price has kind of crept up there, but fully justified. Obviously.
And I'd like to give a shout out to Juggalo Nation, to Don Yeezy, Derek, all the fellas here, including Chief, who is a big part of Juggalo Nation. Just wanted to say that.
Okay. Yeah. Did you want to tell the people your favorite ICP song?
No, another show. We have so many. We don't have the time. You already said that.
Or you don't have one, or you possibly don't have one.
Here we go. Come on.
I mean, you can Google really quickly, but now the time's already up. Okay. New Orleans.
I've been drinking Faygo since you've been.
What's your favorite flavor of Faygo?
I mean, grape is the best, but
I don't know what they have. I guess they have a grape, probably. New Orleans and Atlanta. I think this is the lowest total on the board, 212. Defensively minded Orlando, and their offense has really, really took a hit. It's the worst offense in basketball the last 4 games, all the games without Banchero. There are a lot of injuries in this game, though. Like no Banchero, no Wendell Carter. That's why we're talking about Goga Bataze is 5K on DK. Feels like there's still some meat on that bone. And then on New Orleans, we have Jordan Hawkins is out with his back. Zion is officially questionable. McCollum, of course, is out. There was a chance Murphy might come back at some point soon. Well, it's not tonight, and we care about tonight only in DFS. Boston has played a pile of minutes. As of right now, we are projecting Zion in. Do we have an? Yeah, we have an if-then. If he doesn't go, Ingram, of course, would get a bump, and then Alvarado would get a bump as well. Was he 7 of 7 last game from 3?
Yeah, he couldn't miss from 3. He couldn't miss from 3.
Yeah, I was watching that game.
He's been the Yahoo play of the day. He's been $10 like every slate. So
is he still $10 over there? That's outrageous if he is.
Probably. The thing is sad. If you go look on that site tonight, there's like no contests. Like no, it's like it's just really sad. I'm in mourning over here.
I did run an optimal on Yahoo just to kind of see who was popping because I was doing a little bit of. I want to make sure I like some players on other sites. I want to make sure they're good over there as well. I think Cat's got a really good price over there on Yahoo.
Yeah, he's $35. Yeah.
Are you not playing it? You're a kid Yahoo. Are you not?
I'm playing it, but it doesn't. It's like I'm not playing. I'm playing, but I'm not playing. So yeah. I gotta look elsewhere.
You want to play more, but unfortunately, they're not giving it to you.
Yeah, because all these little there's like all these little EV chasers like who will only enter a like when they put up these 500 double ups. Nobody fills the last spot because these guys don't have any balls like Wendy's balls. So they only go in when it's like 4 left, so they can be plus EV. There's overlay in each ring, and it's annoying.
Are there any plays that are plus EV in New Orleans and Orlando? Wagner should be good. He's kind of baked up as far as the price. He's already full up to 8K. I should say Franz of the Franz and Mo. He's the Franz variety. Mo, you don't really want so much. That is a super, super, super deep play and not on the board for me. Kirk, we are getting 20% Boston as of right now, just because he's going to play a pile of minutes. 35 is his current projection, and feels like he's got at least a nice floor, if nothing else. Suggs, 35 minutes for Suggs because again, Orlando is hurting. Feels like a game they can steal. In the absence of Banchero. New Orleans is not great shakes either. All their injuries, and we're not sure about Zion. What do you got? Magic and Pels.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what we have yet because we need the big news with Zion. So assuming Zion's in, then I guess. I mean, Boston Jr. will be better if Zion's out, but him at ownership just seems a little scary. I think the floor is there for sure. He's seen a bunch of minutes. He's been playing well offensively, doing a little bit of everything. I like more on the Orlando side. I like Wagner. He's been battling a sickness. I don't know if people know that, but so he wasn't playing that well, it seemed like, but he's no longer sick. Coming off of a really good game against the Pacers where he had 46 fantasy points. I think there's room for more. I also like Goga, he's been crushing it without Wendell Carter Jr. So 31 and 36 at his price is certainly fine. And Jalen Suggs has been absolutely, dependable for the most part. And, he's had some big games, but he does a little bit of everything out there. He's been shooting the three. He's a guy who can pick up a lot of steals. Every time I watch him, I've been impressed with him this year. So I think he's taken a step forward. So I like him. But I will, if Zion's in, I do have some interest in Zion.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't, as far as studs go today, I don't see it. But okay, tell me why.
That's the reason. This guy could have a pop off for a big game, and he's going to be low owned.
Yeah, my argument would be there's going to be a lot of low owned plays tonight because how big it is, and you can get better players in better spots, basically the same ownership. But fair enough. We currently have Zion at 2% right now on DK as of 20 minutes ago or so. The closer we get the lock, the more refined that gets, the more accurate it gets with more news coming in. Chop New Orleans, Orlando. We excited here or what?
Well, excited isn't the proper term. I don't get excited for many basketball games these days, especially not this one. But are there players in this game that we can play? Sure, absolutely, Dean. I think that Alvarado's done a solid job, so you can definitely go back to him. He's 57. The price is getting up there a little bit now. Like Kirk said, Brandon Boston, he is in the same what we just talked about, Isaiah Stewart. It's the same kind of guy. It's a cheaper guy like that who's going to project for anywhere between 23 and 27 points, pretty steady. That's just a steady spot in your lineup. It just depends on which one of those kind of guys you're going to go with. And there's more later on we'll talk about. Goga's fine. Franz is fine. I think Jalen Suggs is the best player in this game, best play in this game, because one of the things, Dean, that you can do with what I like to do, Dean, break you off some inside
behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Behind the curtain.
Sometimes I just kind of look and say, man, how can I fill out every single roster spot tonight if I can? Can I fill out every single roster spot with a guy who has roughly 35-point floor? Can it be done? Well, in order to do that, that's a balanced attack. You can't have Luka because then you got to go to whoever else down in the zone, and that's not going to be – it's guys like Jalen Suggs to get it done in that kind of a build. 7,300, 40-point, roughly 35 to 40-point, what is it? Not upside because he's got more upside than that. Floor is not that far off of 35 point, not that much lower than 35. I think Jalen Suggs is the best player in this game.
I think dollar for dollar, my favorite play is Goga, but I'm not going to argue with you on Suggs. I like Wagner too. I just don't know if I'm going to get there, but I certainly like him at the small forward spot. Goga feels like a pretty good chance to get you a cheap double. His life would be a little bit easier if Zion doesn't go as well.
No interest in Ingram if Zion's out.
He's fine. I don't really want to pick on. I think this is going to be a low scoring, slow game, and Orlando's going to score not a ton, and New Orleans has been kind of bad too. I'm not. If I'm only making 3 lineups, I don't think I'm getting Ingram.
Okay.
Chop.
Sometimes I know the term, and I appreciate the term slow game and all that. Sometimes a slower paced game absolutely helps certain players, and that is definitely
fat boy.
It's definitely Brandon Ingram too. Brandon Ingram's not this guy getting out in transition and doing all. He wants to be half court. Give me the ball. Get out of my way. Nice and ISO. Slow it down. Let me take my time and work my shot.
His little mid-range jumper.
So I think that a game like that doesn't hurt some guys, and it wouldn't hurt Ingram. And if Zion's out, Ingram would be pretty damn good play in this game.
Gogo gets his fantasy points not necessarily by scoring as well. He can grab a bunch of boards. Yeah, I used like Ingram's going to project really well. He would project for about 45 fantasy points if Zion doesn't go. But it's he's 8-3. It's not like it's a great bargain or anything. He's fine. I kind of if he's going to be popular, and we'll see. And Zion probably plays. Who knows? We'll see. Stay tuned on that. Trying to see if we got any new news coming in. Magic, Suggs, KCP, De Silva, Franz Wagner, and Goga Wataze. That is your starting 5 for Orlando. Let's move on. Pacers and Charlotte. I think this is the best of the 3 7:00 games. 236 is the total. Indiana, pretty big team total, 121 and change. 236 as far as the total overall, and they're 7-point favorites. As far as the injuries and who's in and who's out, well, TJ McConnell is questionable. He had the fish, so we don't know if he's going to play or not. Charlotte's, they're without their top 2 bigs and Williams and Richards. Taj Gibson is still, well, we'll see. Right now he's starting. Guys going to get pressed for minutes. Grant Williams probably is going to have to play a fair bit. Maybe he plays a little bit of 5 as well. No Miles Bridges is the other big one. Kind of a big usage chunk too. So LaMelo, Brandon Miller, he had that butt for a while. He had the shoulder, but he's expected to go. So yeah, LaMelo and Miller, and I think Grant Williams are the interesting pieces. In Indiana, well, Miles Turner. I think Kirkwood alluded to him earlier. I'll have Chop start this off, but I like Turner a ton on DK, where I think he's a little bit too cheap. We know historically we love centers against Charlotte, and it's Taj Gibson and I don't know who else. Diabate or Saloon, I think is how you pronounce the other guy. We'll see. We'll see what Charlotte ends up doing. But Chop, Indiana, Charlotte, what do you got?
Miles Turner, lock button, got it. That's a crazy good price tag for him. Like that's just, and I don't want to jinx him because foul trouble anything could happen, But man, that's a good price tag for Turner. He'll be my highest owned player by far. He's the guy. Matherin's good too. Matherin's going to be in a pretty good spot tonight. The rest of those guys are priced appropriately. Halliburton and Siakam, 78, 81. They're fine. Could definitely get there, but they're not like first piece starters. They're priced all right. McConnell will wait on that one. That could help out some other pieces if he's out of there. So, and the Charlotte side for me is, Brandon Miller's back. So I don't really want him, and I kind of don't want the guys that he affects by being back. And LaMelo Ball, albeit a really good player, 96 is a pretty big price tag. He's a GPP only play. Maybe Cody Martin, you can dip at 3,800. If you're building the double superstar lineup tonight, if you want to go that route, Cody Martin is a kind of guy you need. So I'm not going to write him off.
Yeah, I like the LaMelo call. If this game stays close, I have to assume he's a big part of it. 34 minutes, almost a 50 fantasy point projection. On the season, 1.43 fantasy points per minute. His usage is out of this world as well. As decent shot at getting a double-double as well with those assists. Jump in here, Kirkwood. Do you agree this is the best of the 7:00 games on the whole?
Yeah.
Yes or no? And then what pieces do we like here? Turner, I think a little bit more so on DK when you consider the price. Of course, you can play him on FanDuel as well, especially when he gets going for his blocks. But yeah, Pacers and the Hornets. What do you got?
Both teams have been playing slower than last season, but I think they both want to run, and that will inch up as we keep going here through the beginning of the season. Miles Turner is chopped now. The price for the upside that you can potentially get out of it is just ridiculous. First of all, we've been playing centers successfully against Charlotte for years, and they're dead last in defensive rating. They're like 21st in opponent blocks. Like he could could have a block party get there. He could score. He could shoot the 3 against this team. He could do. There's just a ton of upside here. So I love him over I want him before Keita or Goga or however I'm going to play it. He's the one guy I definitely want in my lineup. And then Matherin is just too cheap. He's a guy who gets buckets, and he mans that second unit really well too. And as long as Naismith's out, he should see big minutes. And look at his little game log too. Like, and he really had a good game against the Celtics, and he's been fine. He was fine in this game where you guys say you don't like playing anyone against Orlando. He just had 38 fantasy points against Orlando, and this is a much better game environment. So I like him a lot.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned Naismith, though. It's good to bring that he's out. Demhart, yeah, good to go in with that. What do you have, a knee? Pulled up the injury report. He is officially probable. We should get some clarity on McConnell at some point. If we don't get it, Crunch Time is going to get it. Any more news? Devin Booker has been downgraded to questionable. He had the fish. He's ill.
Zion is out. Alert, Dean, alert. Zion is out. Here we go. Here we go.
I just want to what about the big center? Where would he go as far as the projection? Misi. I know they have Tice as well. Just trying to think out loud. He says his minutes are kind of volatile, and you never really know if he's going to close, if he's not going to close. But without Zion, maybe his minutes get a little bit more solidified. Curious to see what projections do. Ryan Dunn also, I think he was doubtful, so we didn't expect him to play. Dunn out for Phoenix, but Booker being questionable. What time is that game? It's like a 9:00 game, isn't it? I think it's pretty late.
No, it's around 7:30. It's 6:30.
7:30.
6:30. Yeah, 6:30.
Well, local time. Yeah.
No, that's not even local. That's earlier than local time. That must be an ESPN game or something. They want to jam it in there early.
Yeah. No, it's Dallas is an hour behind. It is the first half of the ESPN doubleheader.
Dallas games usually tip off at 7.
Oh, it's
Central
Dallas
time. Central time.
Okay.
So that's 30 minutes earlier than what they're used to. So it must be on ESPN is all I'm saying. But yeah, no, yeah. Okay, we're gonna get it. We're gonna figure it out here. Booker. If Booker's out, this.
Well, then what? Like we're gonna play Beal.
The slate will be flipped upside down.
Will it though?
Like when Jordan hit the homer and the announcer goes, "This game has been turned upside down." In the World Series, the slate will be turned upside down, Dean.
I don't. We'll talk about it when we get. I think it's going to be like the combination of like Grayson Allen and Tyus Jones played a few more minutes, I suppose. Interesting. Yeah, I'm curious. We'll get there. I think that's one of the more interesting games in the slate because I have some thoughts and I'm curious what you guys think. Wrote somebody up in the survey today. I did place a bet as well, correlated a couple players in that game also. But anything else you want to say? Do we talk about Halliburton? Do we mention him in passing, Chop? He's fine. Sure. Any issue?
He was mentioned as being a fine player who can, every once in a while has that upside, but he's priced like it. There's nothing about him that like setting off any bells and whistles tonight.
We'll circle back as far as projections once they get updated, but it will be noteworthy with New Orleans with Zion being officially ruled out. Let's go ahead and move on to the 7:30 games. Next up would be Golden State. Golden State and Cleveland, 231 is the total. Cleveland is a 4-point favorite. This is like if you like basketball, you watch this game, right? But, with everybody basically, well, I shouldn't say everybody. Draymond is questionable. There's the Pods guy is questionable, and Melton's questionable. So Golden State, I suppose they can lose a couple guys here. Cleveland, I believe their injury report is clean, right? Wade is back and good to go. I don't think they have any injuries of relevance. Unless I'm missing something, just give it a quick scroll. So Strus obviously has been out for a while, going to be out for a while more. Wade is always officially questionable. I thought he was upgraded to available, but okay. Not that it matters really. But Chop, this is the good game if you like basketball, but everybody's sort of priced where they should be priced. And Golden State, it's like only one guy gets to play over 30 minutes, and that's Steph. And who knows? If Draymond doesn't go, nobody really, not one person really jumps up, I don't think. And some of these guys, their prices still seem too high, and they would just kind of get like to the point where they should be where they should be if we lose Draymond.
Dean,
Kyle Anderson would get some run. Kuminga would get some run. Looney, but does one guy actually elevate for you?
If we do rule out Draymond, then yeah, Kuminga will be in play for me. He doesn't need to shoot to get there, and it'll be some extra minutes. Draymond would vacate about 30 minutes, especially in a game like tonight where he was gonna play his 30 minutes or maybe a little bit more. He'll vacate that, so somebody will get the boost. I would say Kuminga. So, but right now with him just being questionable and not being ruled out, yeah, there's nobody I could play on this team. So not that one. On the Cleveland side, you could always go Evan Mobley. 7,400 is still, as long as the price tag is pretty reasonable. He's in play, and he's probably, Donovan Mitchell's a slightly better fantasy player on that team, but Donovan Mitchell's priced a lot higher than him, so it's always going to be Mobley. And the rest of those guys don't really cut the mustard for me. Every once in a while Garland will have that big game, but I'm not dependent on that.
That's kind of where I'm at too. And you mentioned Spider, Mitchell, but I kind of really want to pick on this Golden State defense. Like, again, if you're playing 100 lineups, sure, get a piece, but I can't see myself rostering him tonight. Golden State, the second best defensive rating in the season by far. Of course, OKC, the best by far. Dallas third, and Cleveland playing at the 9th best. I believe their pace has been faster this year. Yeah, 12th now. Been picking up the pace. Pace-wise, so they're running a little bit more. Golden State right in the middle. Kirkwood, what do you have as far as the Warriors and Cleveland? We do have an if-then, but it's like set up where if Draymond, Pods, and Melton are all out, and I don't know if we're going to get the trifecta. So, you can't really do for every single combination. This guy, these two, those two. But, like Steph would look good, and Looney might do some things. But do you really want to make a Von Looney on a slate that's loaded with cheap centers? I don't.
I like Steph. He looked really good against Boston, obviously, and there was a lot of emotions in that game going off. But it's Friday night. I think he actually gets one of the better matchups in this game, and he can go off at any time. So I kind of like him, and I also like Darius Garland because I think that Curry's going to be guarding him, and that's where you attack. That's every team tries to get the matchup with Curry, and Garland is a guy who will probably be forced into that matchup, and I think that he's probably the best play out of anybody. So that's all I like. I like those two guys, but I'm not crazy about this game, but those are the two I play.
This is the game that I thought would be the first half of the ESPN doubleheader. It's not. It's Milwaukee in New York. 223 is the total. New York is a 7-point favorite. Milwaukee is in the back half of a back-to-back, and they did travel, but it was kind of a blowout last night, so minutes were subdued. Giannis officially probable with his adductor. I thought there was a chance he might sit. Doesn't appear like he will. Andre Jackson, we saw him jump in the starting lineup last night. Good energy guy. I don't know how great he will be at DFS, but good defensively, right? Certainly better than Gary Trent has been this season, who's been horrendous. Not hitting his shots, not playing great defense. So what do you do? Well, he's currently questionable. I don't know if they gave him a back or just he actually does have a back, but he may or may not play. Doesn't matter. Campaign officially questionable for New York once again with his hammy. We know how tight those rotations are. You got to pay for them, but like Brunson, Katz, they're going to play 35, 36, 37, maybe even more. Kirkwood, Milwaukee, and New York. Giannis getting no ownership. Just throwing that out there, like 2%. Just to, you can always get over. If you can get over that very easily, if you want to do that, if you're running a bunch of lineups. From running one or two, probably not getting to Giannis. What do you have, Kirkwood?
Yeah, you look for ceiling from stars. It's, the back-to-back is a little scary with Giannis, but certainly, he got capped at 30 minutes because they didn't need him last night against Utah. So I could see that working. I could also see Damian Lillard going off potentially, but this isn't the sexiest of the games. I think Cat's probably the best play for his price because although it's starting to creep up a little bit more, but I still think he's kind of underpriced here. Jalen Brunson could go offshore, but I'm not crazy about him. But so it would be Cat, it would be Giannis, and you can always go to a Tibbs guy. If in that mid range, if you want to just chase minutes, because like Josh Hart could be great, OG Anunoby could be fine. Like it's like fillers for your lineup if you're trying to do the chop organic mid-ranged lineup, which is very successful. And I'll let him explain that more.
We did earlier. But yeah,
I know. But again, for the people, like you always say, like the people don't always tune in at the same time as Dean.
Well, they missed it because we don't have time to repeat. It's a big slate. It's a big boy slate. So you missed it. You missed it. Hit the rewind button and go like 1.5 speed so that you can catch up that way. What do you got, Chop?
Yeah, Josh Hart is, he's a cemented pillar on the mid-range build. Like he's always going to be popping on that build because price tag never goes over 7K, plays like 40 minutes a game, can do all kinds of different stuff on the court to get you fantasy points the entire game. Huh?
McConnell out.
So is Luke Cornett, but I'm not sure that matters.
We kind of knew that.
He's not a closer anyway, right? He's not a closer anyway.
He doesn't get any coffee.
Yeah.
He's a closer. Let's go back to this. I know Dink has said this. Everyone loves this. And Chop, I gave 2 plays. I gave a Peyton Pritchard ladder and a Cornett over, and Cornett busted, but he was in foul trouble the entire and they actually took him out, which was stupid. He never got back in for the real garbage time, but there's like 2 garbage times in Boston games. It's like the real garbage time starts at the end of the third quarter, and like they let that leak into the fourth. Then the garbage time comes in at the end. But I know Chop. Chop still. I heard. People told me you were besmirching me.
No, sir. I was just trying to figure out if he was a closer because Dean was saying he's not a closer. And
it's because I was saying he's not a bopper. I say he's not a bopper.
Man, I don't know. I got to rewind the tape.
He's not a bopper, and he's sometimes not a closer too. Like both. Sometimes he doesn't close.
Okay, that's what it was. We had conflicting definitions of closer. I didn't mean like closer. Oh, it's a 2-point game. Luke Cornett's going to be out there in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left. No, I meant blowout closer. But anyway, Josh Hart, a pillar on the all mid-range team. He's good. Karl Anthony Towns, really good. Now, you could always go to Brunson or those are the big 3 for the Knicks. I'm not sure I want to play around with those wings, OG and Mikal. They don't do very much, but stand out there in the corner and play with each other, if you know what I mean. So, but on the flip side,
Jesus, hey,
Steve was really. Did you guys set that up? But Steve was really.
He was ready for it. He's ready. He must be looking at that Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry came from last night.
This is supposed to be the No Shenanigans show. It's 11 games on DraftKings and 13 on.
Yeah. So Giannis is fine for GPPs, and all these other guys are fine. Listen, do you keep you keep talking bad about Andre Jackson? That energy is going to rack you up some fantasy points for only 3,400.
Bad. I said he was an upgrade. I say he's an energy guy. I don't know how good he is for DFS, but he's a good.
No, for DFS at 3,400, he's going to. If he gets his 25 plus minutes, he's going to stumble into some points just because of the energy. That's what he is. They need his defense, is what they really, really need badly. So I think he's going to earn some more minutes.
They need some threes also in Milwaukee.
Can I go off topic? Can I get Steve to do a survey quickly, a poll? Does anybody in our chat play pickleball? I just want to know that. I just want to know.
Do you play pickleball? Yes or no? Okay.
Yeah, that's all I want.
What would you
ever played pickleball?
No. It's already set. Do you play?
Or do you play?
On the right. What would you set the line at, Kirkwood?
I really don't know. I don't know what I don't know. It's not that big in Jug Nation typically. More of a handball. More of a handball.
I'm going to say like 27%, yes. And that's the line. I don't know if that's a good line or a bad line. I'm going to say 27%. Is that a good line, Chop?
You saying 27% of the people have played in chat?
No, do you play? Actively.
Oh, the poll? No.
Not like at the second, but like, is it in there?
That'd be more than that. I think it's
the over.
It's gaining a lot of popularity.
Comment by Brandon?
I don't see the comments. I just see the poll.
Oh no! Come on, Brandon.
Okay, are we still talking about? We're done with Milwaukee and Newark, right? By the way, there is optimism that Booker's going to play, according to the source, who happens to be Devin Booker. So I expect he is going to play. All right, 232 is the total. Dallas is a 3-point favorite here. Who's in and who's out as far as this one? Well, I guess Booker's going to be good to go. We'll see. Stay tuned. Lively, if you're a big dude, especially a big dude on Dallas, you're probably not playing because Lively's out, PJ Washington's out, Maxi Kleber officially doubtful with a hamstring. which leaves Daniel Gafford as like their top big, and then behind him would be Dwight Powell. Kirkwood, what do you have as far as Dallas and Phoenix? I did see a note that this is the lowest Luka has had as far as touches per game in his career, including his rookie season. His touches are down. Not saying you can't play him, obviously, and it's just small sample size, yada yada, but he's not been as involved. He's still plenty involved, but not as involved as he has been historically. Just sort of passing that along. I have a take on this, but I'm going to go last. Kirkwood, Dallas, Phoenix.
I like Daniel Gafford, but he's outside of that range for me. I like Miles Turner better, I like Kata better, but he's right there. He's in the mix at 5,100. I'm not worried about the ball handling of Luka. He put up 71 fantasy points the other night against the Pacers. I know it was that an OT game? I'm not sure, but he played a lot of minutes, so it looks like was. But regardless, 63 fantasy points in 32 minutes against the Bulls sounds pretty good too, as well, in a blowout. So if you get a tight game here, I think Luka will be just fine. Obviously, if you're not playing Luka, you can always play Kyrie. But on this slate tonight, I'm not huge on Kyrie, so I probably wouldn't do it. So I would rank Luka ahead of that. But other than that, I don't really like much from this game.
Chopper?
Yeah, nobody's really going to pop off in any kind of optimals or anything, and that's fine. Gafford's going to get the most ownership, deservedly so, because it's just his production per minute is really good when he gets the minutes, if he can get the minutes. Not just the coach's decision, but if he gets matched up with Nurkic, that could be foul trouble too, and he can get himself into foul trouble. So I'm kind of with Kirk. I'd probably be under the field on that. Luka's always good. Nurkic is really getting there these last couple of games with really efficient offense. He's not and big time rebounding. And I don't know that he might just with these guys out for Dallas, he may pull down another 12 rebounds tonight. So, but I don't know how much I'm going to go there. If Booker plays, then the rest of these guys don't really appeal to me either.
All right, so here is my take today. I was doing a deep dive into Gafford, obviously without the two bigs. Kleber officially ruled out as well. He was doubtful. 18.6 minutes in the season. If you watch Gafford, if you watch Dallas, that dude's going to the locker room all the time. But before he checks into the game, he's like at the, what's it called? The stanchion? What's that word that you use? If you're, you got the check-in spot and back, he's all wrapped up and like he's got ice bags. But when he's out there, he plays hard. He played 16 and a half minutes in the first half last game in the same circumstance, but the game fully blew out. So we only ended up playing like 4 or 5 or 6 minutes or so in the second half. I think there's a chance. He plays like 30 minutes tonight. And part of that is the push-pull of Nurkic on the other side, who has had a lot of bad games this year. He's been benched many times. They go to small ball 5. But my thought is, and we've seen Nurkic absolutely smash the last couple of games, I think we play them together. And I think if like Gafford plays 30 minutes, I think we play Nurkic playing 30 minutes. And if it's the game of chicken and like Phil, then they go with they kind of bench Nurkic, that probably hurts Gafford. They might go to Powell. They might go to like Marshall as their 5. But I do like the two of them being played together. And I think both of them have a chance to really, really smash. Gafford, I think we're projecting 28 minutes for him. I think there's a chance he plays like 30 or 31. I think it's possible. Again, this could fall flat on our faces. It's possible Nurkic doesn't close as well. But when you get this right, like Nurkic had 52 points in his last game, 42 points the game before, playing 33 minutes, 28 minutes. He plays some bully ball out there, and he's a big boy. And like the only guy that even has a chance. I don't really like the matchup for Gafford. It's just like him being out there for possibly 30 minutes. I do like these centers a lot. Again, the problem is I like a lot of centers, and I don't make a lot of lineups. But I'm going to make one lineup that has both Nurkic and Gafford because I think they're kind of sort of somewhat tied together. Did anybody like that? Anybody care? Do we like that?
Great.
Chop?
Fantastic, Dean. That's a very nice, spicy take right there. I like that. I'll have more Gafford now because of it.
And don't be shy about playing Little Nurkic as well. Again, he's only 5'4" on DK. Gafford, you can't do some
5'8".
FanDuel, of course.
He's 5'8".
Am I on the FanDuel prices? Oh, yeah, I had the FanDuel prices up. You're right. Okay, yeah, 5'8" and 5'1" for Gafford. I knew he was in the mid-5s. Okay. Butthose asking about Paul Reed. Like, Paul Reed really his only path is if Beef Stew gets in foul trouble. That's basically his. That's essentially.
Butthole!
What up?
Does Butthole know
like two flats on a Cadillac?
It's a 13 games. We're talking about Paul Reed. We've been trying to make Paul Reed happen for like 17 years now. It feels like, give or take. Anyways, let's.
Butthole's got some competition in chat. Wendy's Balls is up there for screen names too. Now it's they're neck and neck here. I mean, Butthole was the trendsetter. So
what's great is Butthole was talking about playing Paul Reed, and then the most recent comment from Butthole was like, "Oh, Paul Reed's in the Pistons." So kind of the values any sort of previous take on love you, Butthole. It's a sentence I never thought I would say. All right, go ahead and keep that dropping.
I don't want to take the low hanging fruit here, but
I mean, Steve could pull a nice little clip of that.
I bet that's not the first time you said that.
Dean Wade officially in, campaign officially out. There you go. Wendy's Balls is very excited. Going to clip that. Wendy's Balls with a shout out from Kirk. You made Wendy's Balls day for sure. Let's move on from Dallas and Phoenix. Let's talk about Brooklyn, Kirkwood's Celtics. 221 is the total. Okay, as far as who's in and who's out, he doesn't mop, but Cornet is not available tonight. Of course, Jaylen Brown's still out. Clowney is questionable with an illness. Last I saw, that's not a big deal necessarily, but Kirkwood, your Celtics, they're really, really good at basketball. They crush everybody. Does Brooklyn hang around? They're 14-point dogs.
They didn't crush the Warriors the other night.
Well, they crushed enough teams.
Yeah. And we have the two front court guys now back. Everyone, we're calling them Al Qaeda, Big Al and Qaeda next to each other. Qaeda's a great player. Qaeda, if you watched him play, I mean, he's bringing energy to the Celtics. And now Cornet is out. They don't want to play Tillman a lot of minutes, and I think he's just going to be out there. He's been playing good D. He's been great energy. He's been getting rim running. So like him, Derek White obviously is a great player. Now Brooklyn's been slow, right? Like real slow. I just have a feeling like Tatum. Everyone thought Tatum was the play against, and he did fine against the Warriors, but I feel like he's just not mentally there. Like he wasn't. Like now the pressure's off on this game tonight, and we don't have Jalen. I feel like he goes off tonight, and he's not gonna be like one of the higher owned. He's gonna be extremely.
He scored 32 points against the Warriors. He was 10 of 20 from the field, 5 of 10 from three.
He was. It took him a while. It took him a while to get. I said he was fine. He played like a. Like he wasn't into the game. It took him a while to get into the game.
It's an awesome game.
A lot. I expect a lot. I expect a lot more than that, to be honest.
Okay. He should average 40 points a game.
Expect a lot more. I expected him to do a lot more on the defensive end. I expect a lot more. He was fine. But you're talking about
rational expectations from Boston fans.
Jaylen Brown being out. He should be better, and tonight he might be. But Derek White is a beast. I don't care how he keeps inching up here. He's steady Eddie, knocks down those threes like nobody. You can play Pritchard, but I mean, this isn't the sexiest of games, but Keta and White look like the two best plays. And I think Tatum's going to have a big game tonight. I really do.
Yeah, the tricky part is what if this game blows out? Am I right in saying there's only 10? Oh, there's 11. Okay, I only saw 10 guys in Boston. And I was thinking Pritchard might be forced to mop if this game gets ugly. But Pritchard, Hauser, Walsh, Tillman, Springer, and I think Drew Peterson might be like a late ad or something in the middle of the day. I was thinking like, oh, they might be forced if this game gets ugly. Pritchard can really have a good time, but he wouldn't mop, I don't think now. Okay. Chop, Boston, Nets.
Yeah, for starters, Brooklyn, you can X them out. I'm Xing them out of my pool. I don't need any Brooklyn guys. On the flip side, there, yeah, Derek White, he is hitting the mid-range opto tonight for sure. He's one of the mid-range. I didn't make a joke, Dean.
That's not a thing you made. There's no such thing as mid-range.
Yes,
There's no such thing. There's a button I can click that says mid-range.
You don't know. Obviously, you don't know how to
use.
use the lineup HQ to its fullest extent.
I'm going to do it now. Actually, I'm going to make everybody at least 4. All my roster are guys that are like 4-7 and like 7-8. How about that?
So the Peyton Pritchard, he's okay. Jason Tatum, if you want to spend up, that's fine. I'll probably go another route on the spend up. But Keita, he's still putting up pretty good numbers. Still going to get his minutes. He's starting again tonight. So yeah, he brings that energy, like Kirk said. The energy guys in the NBA, very underrated for their real life help with the team. Like, it really helps a team in real life to have some energy out there, man. It really does. So
get an all energy stack, Chop. How about that?
Well, it's not that they're usually not great at fantasy, so you got to be careful with the all energy stack, but they're great in real life.
They're like a great role player. That's why you only want one role player in your lineup. You want one of those guys at most in your lineup.
I don't want any role players on my fantasy team. I don't want anybody who gives high fives and waves towels. I don't want that guy on my team. Not my fantasy team.
I almost resigned from the Barack squad yesterday for
what happened?
We don't have time to get into
I just can't take it. Dude is
what happened now?
We
Too
don't
many messages.
DM each other after the show.
Hundreds
100 messages.
I was like, Dean, I'm like, Dean, I'm about to resign.
What's the record?
He's like blaming us. He's like, I let Cincy in the in the defense. That was big oversight. You guess you guys don't want to win, or something like win.
What? Oh man, he's doing the bus. He's throwing people under the bus.
I was like, you don't need the hand holding. I was like, you can do it. This is your team. He's the one who put Cincy in.
Yeesh.
By the way, Chop, you mentioned that casually. I wasn't sure if that was actually news, but yeah, Queta is officially starting for Boston. I heard you say that. I know we had projected. I'm like, oh, is that official? And it is official.
Start again. He's starting for
Keita. It's Keita. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, he's right. So what's the record like over there this year? Just how they doing?
You should see our team. Our squad.
What you call it?
The Barack squad?
Yeah. The Paul Pierce League.
Yeah. We're crushing Lorenzo in the Benzo.
All right.
We have a stacked squad, absolutely stacked. We had Hopkins. We just lucked into Hopkins, but we just traded him. We got Breece Hall. We traded James Conner and Hopkins for Breece Hall. I'm not sure I liked it that much, but we're so stacked.
We still have 4 more games on the DK main slate. Crunch time coming in about 15-20 minutes or so. We're done with Boston and Brooklyn, it sounds like. Let's talk about Houston and OKC. This might be a catch me up game. This might be one of those games that, fun to watch, not necessarily great for DFS. As far as who's in and who's out, Cam Whitmore was relegated to the G League. They want to get him some run. Your boy Steven Adams, he's got that knee, so he's questionable. OKC, anybody that matters is available. All right. Well, Hartenstein obviously is not, but we haven't seen him all season long. Chopper, it's your Rockets taking on the Thunder. 221 is the total. Your Rockets are pretty big dogs here, 8-point dogs, because the Thunder have been the best defensive team by far in the association.
Thunder are good. The Thunder are very, very good. This would be a massive upset if the Rockets can pull this. There's no doubt about it. Massive upset. So with all these guys out, Dean, for the Rockets, or it's not all these guys, but the reason why you're seeing, Cam Whitmore goes to the G League, and then you've got a couple of centers who are questionable tonight, and I think Landale might be out or what. I don't know how they're going to play that out, but that actually spikes up incrementally, but it matters. Tari Eason, who's only 4,300, they want to get him more minutes. That's why Whitmore is in the G League now. Tari's cannot not get his minutes. He's too valuable. He's too valuable to the team. He's really good. And he can put up big-time points when he gets those minutes. And he hits his three-point shots with. He'll get a handful of those shots tonight. If they fall, he's really good. I like him at 4,300. I think he's a really good play here. Probably my favorite play of the whole game. But it's going to be like Tari and maybe Amin Thompson gets a little extra run if they try to if they think that that's the matchup against SGA that they want to run the most. So maybe Amin Thompson. For OKC, they're priced appropriately. 10-1 for Shea is like he's way down my ladder of stars I want to play in that price range. Like he's at the bottom of that ladder. He's not been particularly good this year, Dean, for a guy that's priced that high. And there's a reason why. He's just not scoring raw points like he was last year. His shot selection is way different. His field goal percentage is down. He's taken like almost twice as many three-pointers this year as he did last year on a per-game basis. He's just trying something new, and it's not working because he's shooting dreadful. He's shooting like 26% from three-point range. So I'm not playing him until he irons some of his offensive game out.
I was curious how much they played together, Şengün and you're asking about Tari Eason. They have played 55 minutes together this year because I think he eats off of Şengün to some degree. I probably wouldn't play them together in this game just because I don't like this game anyway. Would you agree with that, Chop? Like, not that you're really love either one. You mentioned Eason. I like other stuff better.
Yeah,
I saw he's projecting pretty well. I just don't want to pick an OKC if I can avoid it. I think I can avoid it.
No, it's not about loving him. It's about liking the price tag and they just think that these absences from these other guys are kind of meant to get him more minutes than what he's being projected at. So we'll see. But that's the only reason. And I'm probably not playing Şengün regardless. Like that's not. You say I wouldn't play them together. I'm probably not playing Şengün in this matchup at all. But Eason is a different kind of guy, man. He gets there not just with shooting. He gets there with his defense too.
He's an energy guy, Chop. You're making that all energy. He's an energy guy for sure.
He's for sure energy, man. He's one of those guys. You need those kind of guys on a championship caliber team. So I hope they keep him.
I think one thing he has going for him is he's small forward, and small forward is not the strongest position tonight. So yeah, if you're playing him, I guess you can play him there on TK. Kirkwood, anything to add as far as this game? You feel differently? Otherwise, we can just move on unless you have anything else as far as Houston.
I'm just trying to see like anybody at their price could have like ceiling. The only guy that would be Jalen Williams. I'd want to play Chet, but he's potentially could go off. But yeah, this game is two good defensive squads going at it.
Yeah, that's kind of where it's a big up in pace game for Houston. So I think I like the Houston side a little more, but I just don't really like this game on the whole. Okay. Washington and Memphis. Well, this is a fun one. This is definitely, if you like DFS, you should like this one. Kuzma, of course, is still out for Washington. Bagley's questionable. I don't think we care. Memphis is just forever injured. No Bane, no Gigi Jackson, no Smart. Conchar is officially questionable. I don't know if that has changed. Grant Williams officially in. Brandon Miller officially in. Let's see, anything else? Nope, nothing else. The big one, of course, is Ja. No Ja Morant. Ja Morant's out. Triple J is probably one of the first players you're putting in your lineup today if you're playing in cash lineups. He projects spectacularly. He's too cheap. The matchup is good. Gets like a 5% usage bump in the absence of Ja. And then, of course, Pippen. Pippen looks awesome, especially on FanDuel. On FanDuel, he looks great. DK, you can certainly play him there as well. But yeah, Kirk, what do we have as far as this is for DFSers for sure. Memphis and Washington. And we've seen Carrington has been really, really good for Washington as well. The minutes have been really strong. We saw George shoot what I saw somebody mention in chat as well. 17 3-point attempts his last game. I don't know how much of an outlier that is, but that is of note, of course. What do you got?
I mean, it's all about Triple J and Scottie Pippen Jr. I mean, Ja's out, massive usage to go around. Two really fast-paced teams, Washington second in pace, Memphis sixth. Also, we might get a good, healthy amount of minutes at Triple J at the center position because Edey may just get ran off the floor in this one. Big oaf. Can't, yeah. So I love Triple J. I love Scottie Pippen. He's a lock on FanDuel. On DraftKings, a little more pricey, and there's other options, but I still think he's a really good play. And then I like all the guys that you said too as well. And Jordan Poole, he's going to chuck. So
he's been good this year, by the way, like surprisingly good. I think we'll see what happens. I don't know how consistent that's going to be. Yeah, Giannis officially in too. Triple J, 11 game slate, 11 games on DraftKings, Chop. 50% ownership. Now in basketball, it's not like baseball. It's not like football. The projections are, while it may seem like it gets you sometimes, but they're more accurate. They're easier to predict against because it's all based on a lot of it predicated on minutes. Are we in on 50% Triple J? Is that good chalk? I think it's good chalk.
Yeah, I think it's got to be, right?
I mean, there's foul trouble, right? Like, that's the reality.
But who's going to get him in foul trouble in Washington? Just
Anyway.
there's reason the outs. He finds it. Though.
It happened.
Dean, he might hack you. That's how bad he is.
Famous last words.
His whole MO is that he is one of the most versatile shot blockers in the NBA, if not the best one at doing what he does. That comes with risk of foul trouble, no matter what the matchup is. He gets in foul trouble shot blocking guards, so it's not like, oh, they don't have a center, so he's not going to get in foul trouble. He could on guards. That's what he does. He shot blocks.
4.2 per 36 this year as far as fouls.
Yeah, he's rough. But
at least 4 to 5 every single
7,200, man. Oh, Gary Trent's out on Friday. That's good. Gary Trent's out.
He wasn't going to play anyway. Barely.
We get our Andre Jackson energy minutes, but for sure at 7,200. I'm overweight on Jaren, and he's certainly hitting the mid-range optimal for sure. Dripping Scottie Pippen. This kid's good, man. This kid's got a little spice to him now.
Tipping Scottie Pippen, his father, allegedly.
Oh, come on, Dean. That's
the allegations, according to the interwebs.
Apparently, rumors, man. Those are just rumors.
I said allegedly.
So the
I've
rest
never
of these
waited on him
guys,
personally.
Aldama's fine, I guess. Man,
And it rhymes too.
I don't hate if you want to take a shot on Zach Edey and GPPs. He may get run off the court, or that he may find himself in this sluggish center fest with Jonas Valanciunas or something. Like, I don't know what's.
Yeah.
He's finding ways to get there. So he's starting.
Or he can abuse SAR.
He could, for sure. So I mean, that's a GPP play. He's cheap enough to do that. On the flip side, Bub is good. Bub's got some spice to his game. Czar, you just mentioned him, maybe. Nice little mid-range guy. Lower mid-range, though. He's lower mid-range. And Jordan Poole's been good. You can go that route, too. That's fine.
All right. Anything else? Yes. Did we mention Santi Aldama? I see several people in chat talking about him. I think he's fine as well. We're projecting Conchar in, right? Just want to make sure we're giving him 18 minutes. Not really sure where those minutes are coming from, but I don't think it matters a ton, and he's not officially in. Yeah, Trent ruled out. Draymond is a game-time decision. That is not helpful at all. But, keep an eye on that. 2 more games. There's an hour break. Personally, I would have been okay if DK just dropped these last 2 as well, but, hey, I don't make these decisions. Hour break till Miami, Denver, Portland, and Minnesota. The Joker is insane. He's spectacular. With all of the center value, like there's going to be several of these guys that are like 4, 5, 6K. They're going like 10X, 7, 8X, 9X, if we go that way. Joker's got to kind of put up 80. Like if he puts up 60, it's not that he kills your lineup, but like you don't really need it. It's fine. But he certainly can. He can put up 80. Yeah, sure. Why not? We're expecting. I shouldn't say we're expecting. Murray is questionable. Jamal Murray is questionable with the head, with the concussion. Jaime Jaquez is questionable with conditioning, still coming back from an illness from Mexico. Gordon is out. Gordon is out for Denver. Nothing new there. I saw somebody talking about Russ Westbrook. I assume he goes to the bench, so I would not be excited about. He was fun for a couple games, but I assume Murray just takes a spot over, and it's still Brown drawing the start alongside Watson. Chop, I don't really. What?
Murray's
not officially. He's questionable, but we're projecting him in right now. We'll see. We don't know, but that matters, I think, for Joker, and of course it matters. They did bake up Westbrook as far as his price, but he's been really good. Matchup versus Miami, not great, obviously. I don't love this game. I'm hoping that Murray plays and I can survive a Joker fade, and that could go wrong. We'll see. Chop, you like anything in Miami and Denver? We got to be efficient, by the way. Crunch time's coming in here soon.
Murray makes a ton of difference, I think, in this game for Denver. So that's big news right there. If he's in, which we're projecting, I'm not as interested in Jokic. Probably still a little bit interested in Porter at that price tag. And that's about all for that side. Miami is a really tough sell for me, maybe, just because he's the cheapest of the really good players. Tyler Hero, that's about it.
By the way, do you play pickleball? I set the line at 27% yes. Currently, it's 16%. So I guess my line was chopped like the over. If you look at pickleballers.
Well, now that I think about it, our chat's probably not the biggest athletic beasts out there going out in their spare time.
Was that why you play pickleball? Because you can't play other sports? That's my understanding.
Man. Pickleball's up and coming, man. It's got some. You can get some exercise on pickleball for sure. Wasn't it Soccer Dave that got hurt in pickleball? R.I.P. Soccer Dave.
No, it was
RG career.
Blender got hurt, maybe unless it was both. Blender had a big injury on pickleball. At one of the RG parties, he took a big spill. I believe he got the point, which is what matters, scoreboard. But he was hurting. I think it was a nose. I think he had a nose, but he was a gamer. He kept on playing through. By the way, I'm seeing more votes than likes. Let's hit that like button. Get that like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Yeah, I'm being told to grovel. Could you just please, for the sake of all things that are good, hit the like button? What else are you doing with your hands, right? Well, it takes 3 seconds. Not even. Kirkwood, did you have thoughts as far as Miami, Denver? I think we could talk about Portland, Minnesota, which I think is another game. I don't want to say it's a stinker. I'm not really into that game. You tell me. But Miami and Denver, are you prioritizing Joker? Because there's so many good centers, and I love the Joker.
No.
I think I'm playing.
Not prioritizing him.
I'm hoping
could bite me in the end, but whatever.
So do you like anyone in this game?
I don't like anyone in this game at all, really. I mean, you could play Michael Porter Jr. I mean, especially if Murray's out. But because Aaron Gordon's out, obviously. But some of if Murray's out, some of these guys might be okay, playing them again, like Peyton Watson or something. But yeah, this game overall game environment is not exciting.
Ben Simmons officially in, already ruled out for tomorrow night because of back-to-back stuff. Probably plays 24 minutes tonight. Portland and Minnesota, 219.5 is the total. Both these teams in the back half of back-to-back. Portland's been better. Shout out to Portland. They've been a better team. We'll give them that. Playing some decent defense as well. 219.5 is the total. That's pretty paltry. Minnesota is a 12-point favorite here. Kirkwood, do we like anything here in Minnesota and Portland? I don't really like this game, and I'm hoping it's just uninteresting. No double overtime in Minnesota for me tonight.
I'm always interested in Ant-Man, so I could play him tonight as a stud, lower owned stud for sure. But this game, if you can pick someone who goes off in this game, and this game is going to have next to no ownership.
Chop, any priorities?
Priorities? No, certainly not. There's not going to be a player from this game that's owned more than 3 or 4%. So you're not really going to miss anything if you fade it. With that being said, those are always the kind of good, leave 5 roster spots open for the late night hammer, just in case you want to game stack it later on at no ownership. I don't know. That's not my MO, but some people do it.
I did want to circle back on New Orleans. I'm checking to see what our projections are with Zion being out, and I'm running some quote unquote optimals, not necessarily mid-tier optimals, not necessarily energy guy only optimals, just standard optimals. And what are we getting? Yeah, Boston. Boston's hitting it pretty hard. Miles Turner is the most popular guys. I added some bells and some whistles here, so grain of salt stuff. Turner, this is DK officially. Miles Turner, Triple J, Boston. Jackson's hitting some stuff. Andre Jackson, we got him projected around 21. I just don't know. Can he get 30? Yeah, Chop. I don't know if he need 30. I feel like I need close to that.
What? At that price tag?
Well, I mean, if I'm really going to win some stuff, I need 20 is not good enough. It's not going to kill me, but I want a little
20,
more.
No, but 25 will be fine if it gets you to the 2 superstars, and those 2 guys are Jokic, another 80-pointer out of Jokic, and then whoever else that goes crazy. So yeah, it's all relative, Dean, to who else what else does it get on your roster for you?
Alvarado got a nice bump as well. He's hitting some stuff there for New Orleans. I'm not seeing a big – Ingram's hitting 24% of my lineups. So Keita versus Goga being asked here in chat on Yahoo specific. So, of course, we're going to ask Kirkwood about this. Do we have Goga or Keita? You tell me.
Let me just double check. I think it's Kata. But I think he's also a couple of dollars short, and they're both like neck and neck. Goga probably has more upside, but he's also $2 more. Honestly, it doesn't matter to me. In my opinion, I don't think it's whatever you're up the rest of your lineup if you need the $2 or not.
I think it's really close. I would take Goga if you're forcing me to choose, but you're on the right path. We have Crunch Time walking in here in just a second. Before they come in, we got to give the people a you're breaking the slates. What the Plums play. I know Plums is usually relegated for showdown stuff, Chop, but who do we got? I know you like your mid-tier stuff. Feel free to be ambitious. Feel free to take somebody that's not 50% owned. What do you have for the people?
Yeah, I'm not going to be super ambitious. And yes, going to be a mid-range guy, that's for sure. It just feels like it's a Derek White game with this matchup right here. Feels like Derek White. Now, I could have gone a lot of different directions. There's a lot of guys I actually think have massive upsides, but they're highly owned. So I'm going Derek White.
All right, Kirkwood taking your Boston guy. See Derek White and Ray's Chop. What do you got?
What was it? The play of the night?
Sure, we can call it that.
Like something like that. Smash play, whatever.
Whatever.
I don't know. It's not a Juggalo bomb. I don't know. What are we calling them?
We can call it that too if you'd like. Clowney's available for what it's worth. Very little.
You know what? I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna say Cade Cunningham goes off again in another triple-double again.
Dude, you realize you said that the exact time Kevin Roth wrote in the chat? Cade Cunningham. Look how excited.
Let's go.
Yes. I was not copying him or anything. I didn't see that at all whatsoever.
No, I know. It just happened. You guys are like synchronized. But it's all right. There is the tease. That means crunch time's here.
Just a couple of dudes who know ball. That's all.
Without question. Let's go ahead and bring in Roth and the rest of the crunch time crew right now. Kevin Roth is he's so much happier in such a better mood during basketball season. Not that he's miserable during baseball season, but always in a good season for basketball and a good mood for basketball season. And you've been you always build lineups that you're doing the show. You've been doing all right, Roth. I hear you've had some success so far.
I've been smashing. Yeah, this season's been great for me. I put a temporary hold on winning every damn tournament I enter because Friday I was at the Spurs Rockets game. So I jammed in Şengün and Wemby, and they both did their best Tony Snell impersonation. So that didn't go great. But outside of that, it's been a great season, and I feel like I love my lineup tonight. We're getting back on track.
Anything else eventful? Any other anecdotes from going to the game? Was it fun watching Wemby? Anything else interesting? You getting into any of the players? No nonsense?
So I met up with a buddy of mine who was in the cheap seats, right? He was like, oh, you should come say hi. So I went up. And I figured he was there with his friends, and he was just alone. And so, then I felt awkward. I was like, "Do I stay here hanging out with you, even though we're in the 400 level, or do I go back down to my good seats?" What would you do, Dean?
The rules are: who's ever in the worst seats has to go to the person with the better seats. No, you don't downgrade. The one with the bad seats has to upgrade. I think that's the rules.
It's tough to do because you can't get into the good levels if you've got the bad tickets.
You give them credibility. Like if you walk like in a bunch, like collectively. I don't know how if you're rolling like 4 or 5 deep with the fam or whatever.
Maybe
like they're not going to check every person. It's like, oh yeah, it's all of us. You know what I mean?
It got awkward.
Check everybody.
It got awkward. I went up there and I was like, I don't know what to do now, man. I don't know.
You got to blame on the wife. Like, oh, the wife needs me for something.
Yeah.
And then, there you go.
I hung out for like a quarter, and then I was like, all right, I'm going back to the good seats so I can see the game.
Yeah, I think you put in enough time. You could have tailed if you wanted to, but all right. Well, hopefully you continue your hot streak. Myself, Chop, Kirkwood, anything else? We're done, right? We're stepping aside. We're getting out of here. We're good. TJ,
here,
what?
We're out of here, man.
All right, yeah, let's go. TJ is going to take over as well as Bobby, and of course Roth's going to hold it down. Roth, keep that hot streak going. Take it away.
Let's do it. Welcome to it. Yeah, buddy. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You know the drill. It is crunch time. 2 of the sharpest minds in the biz hanging out with us here on this beautiful, big old Friday slate. We got my guy, TJ Zwarych, in the house. What up, TJ?
Not too much. We got a fun slate ready to dive into it. Coming up on my busiest time of the week going into the weekend. Lots of shows over the next couple of days. So looking forward for some NBA, some NFL, a little college football in between. Should be a good weekend.
Very good. And then the absolutely brilliant Bobby Gomes. That should be his nickname. Brilliant Bobby Gomes in the house as well. What's up, man? How are you?
Doing well. First time, long time on Crunch Time. We'll see how this goes. I'm excited to be on with you guys.
I'm pumped to have you. Are you liking the slate? You feel good about it?
Yeah, I feel good about it. Interesting slate. Busy. We're just like TJ kind of getting the weekend, so everything's pretty busy. But yeah, ready to talk some NBA.
Man, I was doing that hand build and I loved every piece I had. And it came to like the final spot. And the dude I wanted was the exact amount of money that I had left over. And I was just like, oh, it's going to be a good night. So I'm loving my lineups. I've got a couple built. I'm going to build a couple more as I listen to some expert analysis from you guys. So looking forward to it. Let's dive into it. If you don't mind, Bobby, you want to start us off with kind of a look at what we're dealing with on FanDuel, starting at the point guard spot?
I think TJ's doing the cash game stuff. Aren't we leading off with cash, or is it just tournaments?
We can just yeah, that's fine. We're going to kind of just kick it back and forth about whatever plays you like. It can be cash, it can be tournaments, but that works. TJ, you want to start us off with just some of your favorite plays at point guard on FanDuel?
Yeah, absolutely. I can do that. So up top, or not up top, in the mid tier is really where we're having the guys picking up the most ownership. Scottie Pippen and Carlton Carrington, the two top guys at the position, both of them probably cash game plays today. You have Jose Alvarado in that tier as well. All of them are only point guard eligible, so it does make them tougher to kind of prioritize. I would put them Pippen, Carrington, Alvarado on FanDuel in that order just because of their prices. I love Derek White and Jordan Poole as well. They're picking up some ownership, but I would much rather play them at the shooting guard position. Most of these guys with point guard, shooting guard eligibility, I'd rather play shooting guard today just because there are so many good point guards. Derek White is my favorite of those two. And if you want to throw in Halliburton in there as well, still, I prefer White out of those three for their price tags, probably Halliburton 2, Jordan Poole number 3. Going up a little bit more expensive, 8,900. I love Cade Cunningham today. Kirk D's brought him up on the last show. Roth, you like him too. I'm all aboard the Cunningham train as well. And then a little bit more expensive. I'm probably not going up to Luka or SGA or Trae Young even. But LaMelo Ball, 9,700, the next guy up from Cade Cunningham, I love for tournaments today. I think he's in a fantastic spot.
Very good. Bobby, you want to add some names to the mix?
Yeah, I am on the Shea SGA train and the Luka train, so I'm a little bit different than TJ. I think those two are fine plays, as always. Jalen Suggs, I like a little bit. I think he's fine. Darius Garland, hopefully he gets that Curry defense versus Golden State. And then Scottie Pippen Jr., I think he's good for cash and tournaments. I think he's a very strong play on FanDuel today.
Okay. You want to take us to shooting guard? And again, if they're your favorite tournament plays, that's totally fine by me. It doesn't have to be cash-centric.
All right, cool. Yeah, I think Brandon Boston and Benedict Mathurin will probably be two guys that come in highly owned on FanDuel at the shooting guard position. Jalen Suggs, like I mentioned, at point guard has point guard, shooting guard eligibility. Like him a good bit. Going from there, I like Donovan Mitchell in that Golden State game. KCP, I think, is interesting. Cody Martin. These are guys that I think are fine that you can get to. Derek White is another. Outside of that, like Halliburton, I think if people are going to play a ton from like an ownership perspective, I'd probably be under in tournaments. Same with Jaden Ivey, probably be under on him as well. That's mainly what I'm looking at shooting guard.
Okay. TJ, anything else?
A lot of the same plays. Love Derek White. Brandon Boston, probably a cash game salary saving play here. Love Mathurin. Probably would rather play him at the small forward position, but Mathurin is one of my top guys on the slate. I'm playing him in over half. I'm only playing on DraftKings, but I got him in over half of my lineups over there, and I would probably be putting him in more if I wasn't on crunch time right now. Without TJ McConnell, I love Mathurin today. Jalen Suggs at 7,800 is somewhat interesting. Andre Jackson is a salary saver at 4,100 in the starting lineup. No Gary Trent Jr. in the lineup for them today. Brandon Miller, 66, interesting for tournaments. Dante DiVincenzo, a little interesting for tournaments. That's about it.
Man, I love that Matherin call as I'm building my next lineup. He's in. He's in. All right, let's go to small forward. TJ, what do you got?
Matherin rates out as only the third most optimal small forward today on FanDuel. He's my favorite of the group. He's the one that I'd be prioritizing. I would then, from a cash perspective, pick one of Franz Wagner or Brandon Ingram. Ingram, if I can afford him, would definitely be my first choice. Franz Wagner, if I can't, is a totally fine consolation prize. For tournaments, I love the idea of getting up to Jalen Williams. It's a tough matchup, Jalen Johnson. Williams is fine too, but Jalen Johnson is the one I like more. Tough matchup, but he's just been incredible this year, racking up so many steals and blocks. And then if you need to save some salary, I think the range of Larivia, Martin, Risa Shea, totally fine as well.
Very good. Bobby, a few more names there as small forward for us on FanDuel.
Yeah, I think Matherin is probably, I would rather play him at the small forward position. I think he's a very strong play there. My favorite's Brandon Ingram. You're taking Zion out. I know it's a slow-paced game versus Orlando, but I still like Ingram a good bit. Franz Wagner in that same game, I think, is an interesting run back. TJ hit on Jalen Johnson. Tari Eason, I really like the upside of Tari Eason. Chop kind of talked about it on the last show. Like, they're trying to get Eason minutes, so I like Eason a good bit. I think you go to Jason Tatum as well if you want to spend up. I think that makes sense for tournaments. Outside of that, there's not Najee Marshall versus Phoenix. Like, I don't want to get to a ton of Najee Marshall, but I think he's a fine last piece in 4,500.
TJ, you played Tari Eason every single day last year, and you did not bring him up. Are you off the Tari Eason train?
No, I'm still on the Tari Eason train. I'm never going to be off it. I have him in 2 of my 20 lineups.
Okay, just making sure that you didn't abandon your boy there. Does Roth have a feeling in his plums for Brunson tonight? He just didn't make the cut. I always try to jam him in, but I want Cade over him, essentially, is where I landed. Bobby, bring
to start playing a little bit better if we're going to be jamming him in.
Yeah, agreed. What on earth is this gift? Bobby, what are we doing at power forward, man?
Yeah, a lot of these Memphis Grizzlies are going to stand out. Jaren Jackson, Santi Aldama, Laravia. Good spot for all of them, especially with Moran out. Peyton Watson for the Denver Nuggets. I think he's fine at 4,500 at the power forward position as well. You can go back to Tari Eason. A spend up here that'd be to be different, I think, would be Giannis. Obviously, you can always play Giannis. You really don't need the breakdown of why. Outside of that, maybe some Jalen Williams. I don't mind. You go back to Brandon Ingram, Franz again. These guys both have small 40 and power forward eligibility, so I think they're fine.
Okay. TJ, your thoughts at power forward?
Jaren Jackson going to be the absolute must play from a cash perspective. He's going to be over 50% owned in tournaments. And so he's going to be very, very chalky today. He'll be the chalkiest guy on the slate. I am personally on the train of I would maybe want to get underweight on that for tournaments. But I also bet on him to have more than 25 points, more than 30 points, more than 35 points.
Oh, okay. You got the
I can't remember specifically who it was, but somebody had that on Scores and Odds today as a ladder, and I love that idea. And so shout out to our Scores and Odds crew. But I'm going a little bit underweight on Jaren Jackson Jr. in tournaments, and then I have the bet to go him over on points. He is a great play. You play him in cash, and if you're getting different elsewhere, he is still a great play to have in your lineup. But if you want to differentiate in tournaments, there are a lot of other really good options. Wagner and Ingram, we've already talked about. Siakam has a great price on FanDuel. I do love Jalen Johnson. Santi Aldama is a great cheap price. Anthony Davis not available on DraftKings, and so that'll probably keep his FanDuel ownership nice and low. He has the power forward eligibility here, so I think that's really nice. My favorite probably play at the entire position is Isaiah Stewart at 5,100 power forward eligibility. He's my highest owned player on DraftKings. He's 4,300 there, but he doesn't have the power forward eligibility. Jalen Duren is out for Detroit, and I think this is a really, really nice spot for Stewart against the Hawks. So I love him at 5,100.
Okay. For what it's worth, when you hedge against your DFS lineups, are you rooting a certain way? Like in your mind right now, how do you want it to go? Or you don't care? You'll just see where the chips fall.
I don't really care when it's this situation. I'll see where the chips fall, and once they start falling, then I figure out
Then
which
you
of
can
the
act it.
things I'm cheering for. Like if he's sucking, I'll look at my non-JJJ lineups, and if I have a sweat, start getting excited. If
Okay.
he's doing well, then I'll look at my other bets because I do have a few other that's parlayed with and start cheering for those. But I have realized it doesn't really matter where I cheer. It doesn't affect anything. This is a
Sure.
side note, but we got the time, so whatever. It's stupid how often this year, and specifically in Showdown, but it's happened twice in the main slates too, how a last play of a game or overtime has dropped me thousands of dollars this year. We're talking like at least 3K, like nothing, we're not talking Squirrel Patrol money, but like at least 3K drops on specifically the wrong team gets the ball first in overtime and score a touchdown, or a last play of the game touchdown dropping it. It's been absolutely wild how often I've gone into the last play thinking I'm going to have a big week, and then it just drops.
Well, my guy, regression is coming for you in a positive way. If it means you're doing the right things, you're in the right spot, it's going to turn around. It's going to work its way back the other way for you one of these days. Let's hit center real quick, and TJ, you can lead us off in that spot.
One guy I forgot to mention at center, at power forward, he's eligible at both, but I prefer him at power forward, is Grant Williams, 4,900. He should just get an absolute boatload of minutes today. And the matchup is good against Indiana. Goga Batadze, another salary saving option. You can play Isaiah Stewart here. I forgot to mention Naz Reid at power forward too, but like him at both of these spots. Daniel Gafford 5K, Neemias Queta at 4.1. I'm just going to be saving salary here for the most part. If you want to not save salary, the closest thing to a cash option is Miles Turner, 67. He's still fine for tournaments, but he's going to pick up a lot of ownership. Bam Adebayo, I think, is nice for tournaments. And obviously Jokic anytime, especially when he's going to be 2% owned. Fire it up.
Yeah. Okay. Bobby, your thoughts there at the center position?
Yeah, for me, I think Miles Turner is probably the best play on the slate. We're seeing it in ownership, but I still want to be over it. Best play on the slate for FanDuel at the center position. Name is Queta.
8 shots.
Yeah, name is Queta. I think he's strong as well. I get the idea of paying down. That's why I like Zach Edey. Also at 4,600, you can always go to Gafford, Goga Batadze. Any thoughts on Paul Reed? Like I heard that thrown around on the last show. I know you like Isaiah Stewart, but I don't know if you're playing larger field stuff, maybe throw him in there. I think Jokic always under-owned. Getting over on him makes a ton of sense.
Reed, I think, is probably going to be DraftKings only for me. I like him there more than FanDuel.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Okay. Well, speaking of DraftKings, we have now kind of cleared through FanDuel. We want to get it to DK, but first, we're going to help you find the value. DFS is about value, and there is no better value than right here at RotoGrinders. Busiest time of the sports calendar, perfect time to sign up for RG Combo. For a limited time, you get your first month of combo access for $79.99. That's just $5 more than NBA Premium, and you're getting so much more to go along with it. So do not pass up some fantastic value while you've got it. This is like if Şengün was 4K, you would just play it. You would lock it in. That's what's happening here with RG Combo. So make sure you are signing up for that. Let's kick it to DK. I have a couple questions about my lineup, but I will spare it until it's question time. I will hold off. So let's dive into the lineups. TJ, what do you like at point guard?
Yeah, so a little bit different on DraftKings today, but a lot of the exact same plays that we have already touched on. My favorite point guard play today is going to be Carrington, getting him in about 35% of my lineups. I do think he is very cash game viable as well. I'm just going to switch over my SimLabs here, making sure I'm looking at the right stuff. From a cash perspective, you're looking at Alvarado, Carrington, Derek White, Scottie Pippen, I think. Derek White, probably my favorite option of the entire crew. Jose Alvarado is a lot cheaper on FanDuel, on DraftKings, so he's projecting better over here. And then Carrington is great at his price as well. Player I'm most overweight on for tournaments is going to be LaMelo Ball. I have him in like 30% of my lineups today. Love him for tournaments. Cade Cunningham, same thing. He's my secondary spend up. And then I'm getting to some Jordan Poole, Halliburton, even a little bit of Kyrie Irving as well. And then Brandon Ingram, believe it or not, is point guard eligible. So I'm playing some of him here too.
Nice. Okay. Let's see. Bobby, what do you like there at point guard? And I'm just seeing, it looks like Alvarado got a second tag. I think that just happened recently. I assume that is because of the Zion news.
I think it would be because of the Zion news, correct?
I
Yeah,
think
for
somebody
me,
might have
just
had
basically.
McConnell tag too, and he was out, so it might have been a swap to Alvarado.
Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna try to jam in some Alvarado. Bobby, what do you like there, point guard?
Just loading up my stuff real quick. Sorry about that.
You're good. No worries.
1 second. Computer's being slow. Scottie Pippen Jr. I think makes 1 sec. Sorry.
You're fine.
It's giving me more time to jam.
Not used to the fast pace of crunch time.
It's a different animal, man. You're cool.
Different animal for sure. Yeah, I get it. It'll be all good. Don't freeze up on me now. Yeah, Jalen Suggs, Cade Cunningham, I think those guys are pretty much fine. Luka is someone I definitely have interest in on DK for sure. Definitely trying to get to Luka, especially if I can get a stars and scrubs like build. Just looking through it. Guys that I think stand out from an ownership perspective that are going to be low owned relative to what we currently have. 1 sec. Yeah, Suggs, I guess you can go to. I'm not on the Brunson train tonight. I know, Roth, you're a big Brunson guy. I'm not really interested in Brunson.
Tonight.
Yeah, no real interest in. I think LaMelo is a really good call at the point guard position. TJ kind of hit on that. Jose Alvarado's fine. Jaden Ivey. I think those guys are interesting tournament plays on the slate tonight at point guard.
Okay, very good. I think that takes us to shooting guard. Bobby, what are some of your favorites there?
Yeah, going over to shooting guard, Benedict Mathurin, Brandon Boston Jr. You can go back to Jaden Ivey, Donovan Mitchell. I think these guys make sense. Tyler Hero is someone I think that people might overlook. I think he's fine in tournaments. Derek White, I think, is another one that you could play as well. I like him a good bit. So, yeah, that's pretty much shooting guard.
TJ, your thoughts at shooting guard? Sorry, I'm just digging into Jose Alvarado's stats, and I was so excited when I saw he dropped 46 fantasy points last game, then saw he was 7 for 7 from deep, which I don't think we can project that one again. TJ, your thoughts there at shooting guard?
Mathurin is my favorite here. Carrington coming in number 2. I like Derek White a lot, as we mentioned at point guard. Brandon Boston is a great salary saving option. I like Jordan Poole. Jaden Ivey is fine, but I don't love it. Trey Mann and Luke Kennard are 2 value plays I'm taking a couple shots on that I think will be super low owned.
Okay, that brings us to small forward, TJ.
Mathurin has small forward eligibility here as well. Love him here. Getting us some Franz Wagner, Jason Tatum as a spend up, but doing a lot of salary saving as well. Cody Martin at 3,800 should get a ton of minutes for Charlotte. Andre Jackson Jr., $3,400 on DraftKings. I love him over here. Should get tons of minutes tonight. Zachary Sachet in the mid tier. Koulibaly, Amen Thompson. Don't mind any of these guys. Got one lineup, I think, with Sam Hauser, one with Jake Larivia, and then I like Brandon Miller for tournaments as well.
Good stuff. Bobby, your thoughts at small forward?
Yeah, Brandon Ingram with Zion out. I think he's a good play. Tari Eason, like I said, with the FanDuel description, I think he's just going to get more minutes. Andre Jackson Jr., I think TJ just hit on him. I think he's perfectly fine. Cody Martin, I think he looks good. Jerace Walker is a fine play as well. So, yeah, that's small forward on DK.
Okay.
Always can pay up for Tatum.
Sure. Yeah. I don't even know what his price is now, but as long as Brown is out, that seems pretty solid. What are we doing at power forward, Bobby?
Yeah. So power forward on DK. For me, I think that just getting to guys like going back, you can go back to Tari Eason, you can go to Jaren Jackson Jr., you can go to Giannis, Sonny Aldama, those Memphis guys that have basically been just all going to get a usage bump in terms of the situation with John Morant being out, Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant. I think these guys are all fine as well. Grant Williams, TJ talked about him getting a minutes boost or seeing a ton of minutes. at 4,300. He's not someone I love to play, but he's fine at the power forward position.
Okay. Can I play Alexandra Sarr? Am I allowed to play this dude? Bobby, TJ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're fine playing Sarr.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know why. I'm
I have
I'm
Sarr in 15%, 3 of 20.
Perfect. That's close to where I'm at. So that works. TJ, your favorites there I think we're at power forward.
Jaren Jackson Jr., cash game walk. Just about whether or not you want to go over or under on that 50% in tournaments. Grant Williams is going to be my second highest owned. Really like him as a salary saver today at $4,300. Santi Aldama and Franz Wagner are my next tier. I like Siakam for tournaments. I don't mind spending up for Tatum. Really like Jalen Johnson, but he is tough to get to at 8,500. And then some salary savers, Sarr, Eason, Jeremiah Robinson, Earl, I think is viable without Zion today. And then spending up for Giannis will be very different. He's going to be like 1%.
Okay. That brings us to the center spot. TJ, what are we doing?
Isaiah Stewart's my biggest stand today. I got like 60% of him. Love Isaiah Stewart for tournaments. I bet on him to get more than 10 rebounds, more than 12 rebounds. Bam Adebayo and Miles Turner, two mid-tier guys I really like. I will be overweight on Jokic. And then all of the salary savers, I genuinely like all of them. Queta, Gafford, Batatse, Edie, even Jonas Valanciunas in limited minutes is back to absolutely crushing like he used to. I don't think it's crazy to take a shot on Paul Reed, and I have one lineup with Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay, very good. Bobby, your favorites there at the center spot as well.
Yeah, Miles Turner, I think, is a very good play like we talked about on FanDuel. Getting up to Joker always works out in tournaments. Will always just find way to build your teams in tournaments, so I don't mind that. Zach Edey at 4,700, I think, is a good play and someone I'd want to be over the field on. People won't play Giannis at center. I think that's perfectly fine. Yusuf Nurkic, you can get over on him as well. Namus Queta, people are going to, obviously, 4,500. It's more of a cash game build, but I think he's fine in tournaments also. Yeah, if you want to go to Karl Anthony Towns, I think Karl Anthony Towns is fine. He's been playing very well for the Knicks at 8,400, so I don't mind him. Daniel Gafford's more of a cash game play. Isaiah Stewart, I think, is fine as both tournament and cash. That's mainly the center position for me.
Okay, very good. Does Salon take Grant Williams out of play? I don't know who that is, but multiple people are asking. Who is Sauron?
So Grant Williams is not starting, so the question is, like, do we still like him even if he doesn't start? I'm fine with it. I have no issue with it. But if you'd rather pivot to somebody like Jeremiah Robinson Earl, save even more salary, he is starting, that's totally fine too.
Yeah. Okay. Can we play this?
I would much rather pivot to JRE.
Okay. Good note. By the way, speaking of notes, we've got 170 votes on whatever silly poll was up earlier and only 91 likes. That's actually criminal, and I'm mildly insulted. I'm like that guy. That's how I feel about that. Get those likes up, smash that like button. It is free content, my friends. And all that we ask is that you hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and tell your friends about us as well. We have 15 minutes until lock. Let's dive into some QQs. I'm going to start things off with a little Discord action. Let's see if we got anything good coming in. Oh, yeah.
I'll just say, I know nothing about this Salon guy, but he's 3K minimum price. I'll take a shot on him in one or two lineups, but I don't have any faith in him, and I know nothing about him.
Is he starting?
Yeah.
What position?
Small forward, power forward.
Yeah, I'm playing that dude.
Rob loves that 3K.
Yeah. I'm not saying no to a 3K guy who's starting. Just out of principle, I am playing that dude. At least some of that dude every time. Okay, let's get to the QQs here, starting in the Discord. Here we go. DK single entry. Bobby, I'm coming to you. Pippen Gafford, love that. Or White Stewart. This is DK single entry.
I'm going to go White Stewart on single entry.
Very nice. We'll go to Arlo's question. TJ, it is a DK cash question. It's a 3v3. Queta, Boston, Ingram, or Turner, Carrollton, Tobias?
First one.
Okay. Scrolling up in the YouTube chat here. Here we go. Alvin White Jr. says, TJ, you want Dalton Connect and Ivy or Stewart and George of the Washington variety on FanDuel?
Don't really like either of those options.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Second one, I guess, but I don't like either.
Okay. Trying to jam in the eye of Salon here. Let's see what else we've got. Cade or SGA? Bobby, you got a preference there, Cade or SGA?
I'd go Cade.
Okay. Bobby, right back to you here. We got a question from Mal. Tatum and Derek White. Oh, is it okay to play Tatum and White together in a tournament?
I would probably. I think it's fine. I don't know how many teams I'm going to get with both of them, though. I will say that.
Okay.
Maybe TJ has a different opinion.
TJ?
I think fine. I think I only have them together in 1 of 20, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
TJ Rocket Sauce says Miles Turner is facing the 67-year-old Taj Gibson. Is this a lock?
The only reason you wouldn't play him is ownership. He's in a great spot, but I mean, foul trouble exists and different things like that. There are tons of cheap options at center too. So he is one of the best plays, but he will also be very highly owned.
Okay. Bobby, now that I'm jamming in this Salon character, I have found myself with way too much money to spend. I've got 9,400 in the util. Can I play Ant? Should I play Ant? Like, I don't love it, but is that the move? 9,400 in the util?
I think it's fine. I'm just kind of avoiding the Timberwolves tonight, but you'll get them at low ownership. If you want to play them, for me, I would probably go somewhere else.
Try and find 300 to get Ball.
Yeah, I like that. I like playing LaMelo tonight. And just
I just made a lineup with Giannis and Jokic. That's kind of fun.
That is kind of fun.
You can get studs and duds build. The studs and duds build is very easy to kind of get to, I feel like.
Yeah, and it is, as always, very fun. Let's see. We got more questions popping off in the Discord. Sorry, I was a little late to catch up on some of those. Here we go. Swag with Chris says, Roth, you missed my question. My bad. FanDuel Cash. TJ, you want Carrington and Jalen Johnson or Alvarado and Siakam?
Carrington and Jalen Johnson.
Okay. Bobby, right back to you.
First one, Carrington, Jalen Johnson. Sorry, I was just saying them out loud, picturing them in my head.
That's fine. Blink 182 says, Bobby, large field tournament. I've got 5,300 left at forward. I'm currently considering Kaishan George. Am I missing a better play there? Can I get your thoughts on that? So 5,300 at forward in a large field DK tournament.
What about Benedict Mathurin?
Mathurin's 54.
54, yeah.
R is 54. Like, if you can get Mathurin, that's way better. If you can't,
I think Mathurin's way better. Just find the 100.
Yeah. But like Larivia would be way better than George.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Adam says, how many minutes are we projecting for this Salwan character? Can we pull that up real quick, TJ?
20.
If he gets 20 minutes at 3K, like I literally could not pick him out of a lineup. Yeah, but 20 minutes at 3K is like, all right, you can probably stupid your way into 15 to 20 fantasy points, hopefully more. Let's see what we've got here. 2v2 FanDuel Cash. Bobby, I'm giving this one to you. White Tatum together or LaMelo and Jalen Johnson?
I'm going to go LaMelo, Jalen Johnson.
Okay. Carolina guy says, TJ, FanDuel GPP, your favorite low-owned stud?
I will go with Cade Cunningham.
I approve. Hey, do you guys know you should be signing up for Shot Quality? We've got access to some of the most advanced NBA data in the market. You get shot quality projections for Lineup HQ. And you get 1 month of access for $40 or yearly for $200. If you want to get the test run, you can do a 3-day pass for $9.99. It is a pretty neat little metric where you learn a lot about the quality of shots, not just scoreboard watching, not just box score checking. It really tells you a lot about the quality of shots and helps you project what's happening going forward as well. So go ahead, check that out. Dennis says, someone tell Roth 15 from a 3K player isn't going to get it done. You're right. Yeah, we're going to need 25 plus there to make that work, but not out of the question. FanDuel GPP, better bring back with Giannis. Bobby, better bring back with Giannis, Cat or Brunson?
I think Brunson. I don't love either. I guess I like Cat on DK a little bit more, but on FanDuel, I'd probably go Brunson.
Okay. And I kind of butchered your question there, Boolies, but we got the answer. It was Brunson. TJ, are we certain Quetta even starts? Do you think it's risky to play Goga and Gaff?
We already got the news that he is starting, correct?
Yeah, all Goga, Gaff, and Quaita are all starting. All of them are good plays, though.
Okay, very good. TJ, Mr. Knapp, love that name. Mr. Knapp says DK single entry, Ingram and Alvarado or Carrington and Jay Johnson, TJ?
Ingram and Alvarado.
Very good. Jumping back into the YouTube and scrolling up just a little bit. Eric Johnson says, Bobby, Steph Curry or Cade tonight on DK?
I would say Cade.
Okay. DK Cash, Bobby, Halliburton or Book?
I'd probably go Halliburton.
Okay. You guys are efficient. We still have oodles of time here, 7-8 minutes until lock. This is a GPP question. Bobby, I'm coming right back to you from Shane. Triple J and Goga or Santi and Turner?
Triple J and Goga.
Okay. We'll go to Achilles here. TJ, is Russ a good play? Hang on. I think I actually got cut down. I missed the question. Give me 1 second. There we go. TJ, Cade and JRE or Beef Stew and Siakam?
Ooh. Cade and Jeremiah Robinson Earl.
Okay. Mike B says, TJ, pick one, util. Looks like it's Tara Eason, Grant Williams, Stewart, and Boston. Pick one. Stewart felt confident on that one. FanDuel single entry GPP, 5,500 or less at center. TJ, we're triple dipping on you here. I currently have Nurk. Thoughts on Siakam? Oh, okay. So it's a double. So first, 5,500 or less at center. I currently have Nurk. FanDuel single entry.
I would go Gafford. Okay. Oh, FanDuel. Sorry. I'll just double check that price works. 55. I would go Jonas Valanciunas.
Okay. And then thoughts on Siakam as a pivot from Turner at center?
Yeah, I like that, especially on FanDuel.
Okay. Bobby, is it a good idea to fade the 2 9 p.m. games on DK?
You could play it that way. I like Jokic a ton, so I'm not going to be doing that.
Yeah. Okay. Roger Jones says, is Russ a good play if Murray is out? I think I saw his price got jacked up pretty good there on DK, but any interest, Bobby, in Russ if Murray's out?
No interest in Russ.
Okay. TJ, coming back to you for Maryi Don Yeezy's question. He's got $8,200 at the forward spot on DK.
8,200 forward on DK. I think that'll be Jalen Williams. Yeah. I'd go Franz.
Oh, nice. Okay. Right back to you, TJ. Rocket Sauce, FanDuel, 2v2, Franz and Nas, which is nice because they both end in Z, or Jalen Wells and Jalen Johnson, which is nice because they're both Jalen's. Oof.
First one.
Okay. Last man in on DK. Bobby, coming to you. We've got 4-ish minutes until lock. Ingram, Curry, or Cunningham?
Cunningham.
All right. Bobby, right back to you. Adam says, someone needs to talk me off of this Salawan guy. Someone should, because I'm playing him, but it doesn't mean it's a good play. I do stupid things like play 3K guys that suck. TJ, do you want to try to talk him off of Salawan?
Wouldn't do it in single entry, wouldn't do it in cash. But if you're playing large field, you're building a few lineups, why not? He's 3K. Who knows? Like, frankly, he could have 30 fantasy points or he could have 0. Like, we don't really know for sure. So I'm gonna take some shots.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. It's a fun dice roll for me, but if you don't want that dice roll, he's probably not the dude for you. Speaking of which, Jackson Carr says, Bobby, you want in a DK GPP, Salawan and Joker or LaMelo and LaRavia?
LaMelo and LaRavia.
Okay, thank you for subtly correcting me. LaRavia, noted. Best cash game at 4,700 and below in DK cash, TJ. 4,700 or below at forward DK cash.
Amen Thompson.
Shane says TJ LaMelo and Andre Jackson Jr. or Cade and Eason.
I'd go LaMelo and Andre.
Okay. DK cash, Bobby, back to you. We've got about 3 minutes until we hit that lock ball pen drawing, which, by the way, I would still like to see some of your drawings. Please tag me on Twitter. DK cash, Stewart or Quetta?
I go Stewart.
I'd go Stewart too.
Very good. That's bad. I have way too much of the other side of that one. Jim says, Bobby, is this, boy, there's just first letters. I believe it's Tobias Harris, Silva, Grant Williams, Jay Robinson Jr. for value plays on DK.
Jay Robinson. Is that one of the three? What was the question?
I think it was. Are you cool with them as value plays on DK?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any interest in pool, Bobby? You going swimming?
No pool for me tonight.
No, not a pool party tonight. Your favorite spend up between these two guys, TJ, Luka or Joker on DK?
Joker.
K-Town's Finest says, TJ, thoughts on Aldama as a contrarian play over Triple J?
Love Aldama.
Sean says, FanDuel GPP, your favorite stud on the slate? I asked this one to one of you before. TJ, who's your favorite stud on the slate?
Ball and Cade.
Very good. Let's go. Bobby Aside says, less than 2 minutes, by the way, until lock. Thoughts on Siakam and Turner both in FanDuel Cash? Is it too negative correlation, even though it's versus the piss poor Hornets?
No, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I had a basketball coach. He was the assistant coach. And all he would ever say is piss poor. The coach would like do all the ranting and be like, what do you think about it? And the coach would just go, it's piss poor. It's piss poor out there. It's piss poor. And so I haven't seen that in a while, but thank you for randomly bringing that memory back up to me. I'm going to work that back into my vernacular. Falcor says, FanDuel single entry, Bobby, Peyton Watson or Jake LaRavia? LaRavia? I screwed it up again, didn't I?
No, LaRavia. You have
LaRavia. Okay. Which did you prefer, Peyton Watson or Jake LaRavia?
LaRavia.
Very good. Jay Sam says, TJ, do you think Gafford will be the lower owned compared to Turner and Quetta?
Yes.
Okay. Scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down. TJ Cleveland Picker says, FanDuel point guard, shooting guard, or small forward, 4,700 or under. FanDuel
Brandon Foster.
Nice. Very good. What else do we have? What else do we have? All right. I think we're doing pretty good. We are seconds until lock, and we've answered all the questions. I think we have done the damn thing, boys. I'm going to see if I've got any personal line of questions that I need help with as we close things out. No, we look good. I think we gave the people some winners, and we hit the lock. So we're going to bounce on out of here. For Bobby, for TJ, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been